Good morning, everybody. Molly's got the day off, so joining me for chat is Miss Zora Stephenson. She is the sideline and digital reporter for the Milwaukee Bucks. Good morning to you, Zora.
What's going on? Always great to be here.
Good to see you. Yeah. So how have you been? You've been off for quite a while.
Yeah, well, I've been good. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to view 2020 just yet, and there's a long way to go, but I know I won't forget it. I actually have been working a lot, and so I know the last time we talked, we chatted about everything besides work, but since then, the Bucks really came up with a plan on how they wanted to move forward given the circumstances. So we've been doing a ton of interviews via Zoom. There was a series on Fox Sports Wisconsin with Coach Bud and even GM John Horst. And then we've been doing a bunch of Instagram lives with various players, some internal stuff. So it's been good. It's been good. Busy.
That's a lot. That is very different because last time, you were being crafty, you were doing some home workouts, you were cooking a lot. So now you're working a lot. You know, the word has been that the hope is that the season will start, July 31st. So what is kind of the status right now with the NBA from the standing of what you know?
Well, there's a lot of logistics to be worked out,
as
you can imagine. But like you said, end of July on the campus of Disney World in Florida. It's going to be 22 teams. And so obviously that includes the Bucks. And there's kind of a different format when it comes to the playoffs. But because the Bucks have that number one spot, I don't think it's going to affect them. They'll have 8 seeding games and then go into the playoffs as we know it after a play-in game for that 8th spot. So it should be interesting. No fans. They're going to be in this campus-like environment that they can't leave. And in the meantime, if players are in town, they can do some voluntary workouts at the training center.
Pretty cool. You know, we recently saw some of the players in town when they were doing the protests with the Bucks. And so wanted to get your thoughts on the conversation in the country right now around George Floyd and the protests, and if you had a chance to join the Bucks outside the stadium that day.
Wow, Tiff, I have a lot of thoughts, right? And I think that's natural, and at times they're hard to articulate. What I will say is my feelings are easier to talk about, and it started with sadness and then moved to fear, and then in a turn of events, it did move to hope, and it makes me smile to say that. And for me personally, being out there and witnessing most of the community, the country, and even the world come together for what is right is really beautiful to see. And then, a ton of the players have gotten involved and on their own, but also as an organization. The Bucks, as an NBA team, put together a protest a couple weeks ago, and they said, walk with us. So it was the players, coaches, staff, front office, and the community. And so the organization is saying it was about 7,500 people, and it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. I'm so glad that you talked about that and talked about your own feelings as well, because that's something that, publicly sometimes you don't always get to talk about because you're focused on work stuff. And so I'm glad that you had a chance to share that. So thank you. And that day really was beautiful. And like you said, I felt like there was such a unity and a hope that was brought to seeing everybody join together outside of the arena.
No, and I second everything that you're saying. I asked Sterling Brown, I said, how did it feel to scream Black Lives Matter down the streets of Milwaukee with everything that he has been through? And he said it was awesome to see people come together. And he said if they really mean it, this is the start of something special. And so that's something that I kept saying is, if people truly mean what they're saying, then this could be a turning point for sure.
I hope so too. I'm with you on that. Okay, so back to some basketball, because I do want to know what you think it's going to be like for fans this year, because if we're not really able to go to the games and they're all sort of residing in Orlando, which I think is the talk right now, as you said, what's it going to be like? Are we just going to watch it like they're all away games, or is it going to have the same feel?
Well, it's going to be different for sure, and this is all new for fans and for the players. I think from a fan perspective, you'll be seeing most of it on TV. Now, with things starting to open back up, maybe you can watch it outside at a restaurant. Maybe you can socially distance on the plaza with an event. But again, we have to be very careful because there is still a pandemic happening. For the players, it'll be the unknown. They don't necessarily know. They're suspecting it could be like practice. They're suspecting it could be like youth basketball when there was minimal people kind of around. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see.
So interesting. How is your job going to change? I mean, you said you're doing a lot of Zoom interviews, but being on the court, are you able to be on the court? Do you have to get tested every other day?
I still don't know what my status is and how things are going to move forward with the broadcast. So I wish I had an answer for you on that, because I'm anxiously awaiting as well. Because, kind of have to get your mind right for something like that. But yeah, just waiting and seeing. There's a lot of logistics that they're still working out.
Everything's so fluid, you know, it's like everybody's got to be able to adapt and change and really sort of grow during this time. So it's interesting. How about Giannis? Have we got any update on him, how he's doing?
Well, I'm sure everybody's seen the TikTok videos with him and his family, especially his son. So we all enjoy that. You've seen him in the community at some of the protests, not just with the Bucks as an organization, but just with himself, with his family and some teammates. So he's definitely getting involved, and he realizes like he's a part of this community too. And so he wants to be a part of that. All of the guys down the roster have been involved. George Hill actually just helped open a school in his hometown in Indianapolis. So that's amazing. So a lot of the guys are doing positive things, as well as kind of keeping basketball front of mind too.
That's pretty cool. Thanks so much for joining us, Zora. I'm excited for when you can come back on the yellow couch.
Oh, me too, me too. Stay well.
All right, good to see you. Hey, our Sound Off today, go to our Facebook page and sound off. What's something you've accomplished during this shutdown? We want to know. I'll have a chance to share some of those thoughts a little bit later on.